everyone. Welcome to Ubud Writers and Readers. This year, the festival carries the theme Aham Brahmasmi, or I am the universe. It's a concept that reminds us that the self and the universe are one. This theme invites us to reflect on the interconnectedness between our personal experiences and the collective issues that shape our humanity. In the context of media, this feels deeply relevant because media is not merely a space for information, it's a small universe where narratives, voices, and social realities intertwine. Amid political shifts and conflicting narratives, independent media stands as one of the vital guardians of public consciousness. Although we are yet to define what is an independent media, but we'll talk more about that. We ensure that the smaller, often marginalized voice continue to be heard. My name is Iyas Lawrence, an independent journalist and the founder of Makna Talks, a media company based in Jakarta. For over a decade, I've taken on various roles in the media industry. Through that journey, I've learned that being an independent journalist is not only about reporting events, but also exploring their meaning, finding the thread that connects the personal with the universe. Today with us, I'm honored to moderate a discussion that deeply resonates with that spirit, together with Devi Asmarani, founder of Magdalene, a media that focuses on news and views from gender perspective. Mm-hmm. Also with us is Krishna from a community-based citizen journalism outlet from Bali that stands as a power example of grassroots voices for over 15 years.
18.
So 18. Wow, that's amazing. And also we'll be exploring the role. Also with us, is Mbak Disti Sukma Sawitri. She is the Deputy Chief Editor of the Jakarta Post covering politics and environment. And today we'll be exploring the role of independent media in strengthening democracy, preserving diversity, and bringing forward the stories often overlooked by the mainstream. Ironic. Jakarta Post is the mainstream media. We'll get to that. Let's begin this conversation about how independent media witness to change, but also part of the universe, continuously creating meaning for this nation. Selamat datang di Suara Kecil Kami. So, let's open with that. In this context of I am the universe, how do each of you see the role of independent media as a part of our social universe today? Let's open with that and then define what media is through that question. Please, anyone.
We're too polite.
Okay.
We're very polite.
Yeah, anyone that wants to take it first, please, Matt.
You want to go first?
Okay, I can go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I'd like to comment about the mainstream media. Well, actually, many in the journalism today, many things are redefined. Many even journalism is not what it used to be. The media industry. I think we all know that the media industry is not what it used to be. So. Let's just say the Jakarta Post is legacy media, to be, or probably just to be frank, an old media, because we've been there for more than 40 years. We've watched from 8 presidents. I think the Jakarta Post has covered 7 of them. So, wow. And I think our core mission is to traditionally we're a political. Newspaper, and that's our core strength. So until now, we still keep the principle, the mission to guide democracy mainly. That's our main mission. So back to the question, how do we define independence?
Yes.
I think, of course, we've seen also in the past mainstream media, generally known as those owned by businessmen or conglomerates, something like that. But I think over time, and I cannot really say for the other mainstream media. But at the Jakarta Post, I think yes, we are owned by entities. But then we always maintain a very strong firewall between business and editorial. So even though that we're owned by ABC, the involvement is not directly to the like that. We stay true to our core mission I think Mbak Devi is actually an alumni of the Jakarta Post as well. We stay with our core mission to guide the democracy. We stay true to good journalism,
Yeah.
something that we still hold until today. So
That is very true, and I witnessed that, and I really appreciate that part. But Iffy, please, can you define what it is?
Thank you. I think Witri was like on the nail because when we talk about independent media, I think there is a tendency of picturing it as a small media, or what Witri was saying earlier during our brief, an indie media. So are we independent or indie or both? In the case of Magdalene, maybe indie. But I think it's unfair to say that independent media are only indie media, or only indie media can be independent, because you can be a huge part of a big media company and you can still be independent. So it's a matter of like, what is your editorial line? What is your editorial mission, and how do you carry that in order to in order to do your journalistic work, and how much of a independent principle of journalism are you practicing, or are you observing, and making sure that that is part of the culture of your company, of your organization. And so in that sense, I think Jakarta Post is independent, even though we are so much different in terms of scale, but it has always been there. Now, for us, independent also means that we come from a certain, with Magdalene, we come from a certain mission, which is to push for social change. In this case, to bring about, gender equality, to promote gender equality, to highlight some of the things that are wrong in our society that are not being covered by, most mainstream media, which are mostly focused on issues like politics and stuff, but uses no gender perspective or gender lens, because actually you don't have to. You don't have to talk about women issues only. You can talk about politics. You can talk about state budget. But you can see how it impacts people based on gender. Like how, for example, all this fiscal efficiency that the government's doing, how it impacts women or children or some of the more marginalized groups. So in that sense, Magdalene is independent in terms of we determine our own editorial agenda. We know our focus in terms of editorially. We know how to carry that. We frame the news in a way that we think is the best to highlight that issue or to bring issues. So to me, that is independent.
Wow. I'll go back to that, and because that's a really interesting point, whether, did that come from idealism? Did that come from restlessness? I'm really interested in that. But let's go to Bali Bangong. Obviously, independent, we might think of something small, as earlier said. Bali Bangong might be community-based, but I wouldn't say small because you've been around for the past 18 years. So please.
So basically, Bali Bangong is talking about independent. We're starting small, starting small within where we are and who am I in this place in Bali, gitu. And then talking about where I am right now, I'm representing as the Balinese local youth local. So basically, in Bali Bangong is a citizen journalism media based in Bali. So we discover some local POV, local sounds, whatever the sounds that not really heard to outside.
Yeah, so it's a very community and also very, I guess, local impact. And is one of your aim also to be heard by the global audience? Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So it comes to my previous question, but did having to put out news and views from a gender perspective, did that come from restlessness or did that come from idealism? What did that come from?
Yeah, definitely restlessness. So I started, doing journalism. I cut my journalistic teeth at Jakarta Post back in '96, and I worked there, and I work in other news organizations, foreign news organization, and the whole time I did feel that there are some things that at some point I was like, this is not doing much for me anymore. Not just the amount of work or the stress, but also like the thing that some of these things are just, I'm just repeating what other media are doing. I felt like there's no impact. I would be covering corruption on one day, and then business as usual the next day. These people are still around and stuff like that. So I quit doing journalism. I even went into teaching yoga, doing columns, and becoming freelancer and columnist. But at some point, I realized they said you can take a journalist out of the newsroom, but you cannot take the newsroom out of the journalist. So that's what happened to me. I felt the itch again. So I wanted to go back and set up my own media organization, but then I wasn't sure what kind of media company I wanted, what kind of platform I wanted to do, because obviously I didn't have much capital in terms of starting a mainstream kind of big conventional organization. But then somebody threw this idea that maybe we should do a women's focus, online media. And I thought, well, I'm not really comfortable with that, because to me, what in my head was a woman's publication was lifestyle, beauty, celebrities, and that's not what I wanted. I've never really felt connected to this type of, magazines or publications. But then that's when the kind of shift happened. I was like, well, that means there's still a gap there that is not being filled. We need something to provide for women who want to read information, to read views, perspective, that is not just talking about how they look and what their husband like out of them. So that's how we started. We wanted to kind of to kind of cover women in all the spectrum of womanhood, but also to give a woman lens to what is happening to the world, in covering what is happening in the world. And so it was, a lot of it is restlessness, but also a lot of it is kind of being, like they say, like being overconfident enough to make it. Because we started very small, so only 2-person operation, and it happened for many, many years until like maybe on the 7th years, then we started going full, we grow.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking about women, it all lights out now. Adisti, you mentioned a little bit of something that I didn't want to talk about, but you mentioned it. News are being owned by politicians and news are being owned by political parties. Let's keep it short and simple. Will it ever end?
Well, I don't think that will.
Okay, short and simple. So will us, an independent media, can be in that state one day?
On the contrary, that's why independent media should, mainstream media should present in all segments, in all communities, whether it's, talking about politics, the national media, because there are also new media covering that, right? Like, for instance, like Kumparan, I think, doing a lot of politics as well. So those focus on probably environment, those focus on women issues, or probably reporting with gender perspective. I think in all areas there must be independent media, because that's the battle. That's exactly what we're fighting. We don't want the politicians, the businessmen, the conglomerates who only in it for themselves, don't protect the interests of the public. And that's why we're there. That's our mission, actually.
Yeah, and at this time of the country, we're not going to run out of news to talk about, obviously. It's often difficult. I mean, in economic climate, what are the most tangible challenges that you face in maintaining editorial independence, especially in Jakarta Post?
Basically, for a simple news, for instance, for a simple news covering the president's program, like we all know, the Makan Bergizi Gratis, that's also a struggle. Can you imagine? So I think probably this is just a global trend where leaders are rising to the right, rising conservatism, where the country leaders want to control the narrative. I think that's also the same here, and pretty much for small things like the program, the free meals program. Sometimes we just ask a very basic question. I think that happened when the CNN Indonesia journalist asked President Prabowo recently. Suddenly, the palace
Took her press card.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's for harmless questions. Can you imagine? That's why. So this is exactly why I think media cannot only be one entity, especially independent media. It should be a collective. It's a collective effort, and that's how we put power in check. We stand up to the oligarch. We stand.
I'm assuming if we didn't speak about it on social media, her press card would still be in there.
Revoked. Yeah.
And the president wouldn't be Superman. But apparently he is, and that happened. So I really think you're correct that it's a collective gathering and a collective movement, and that's what makes us independent. I guess when we talk about independent media as well, it's also about being sustainable because you want to continue to talk. You want to continue for generations and generations. Before we talk about sustainability, I want to talk about pressures from potential clients, ads, even algorithms, or even political threats. How do your newsroom operates, the three of you? Please, Mbak Devi, silakan. You want to go first?
Okay. Well, I was a journalist for many years for a large news organization. I knew nothing about making money. I was just there, going out, producing news every day, and I had no idea what's happening, in the kitchen or so. How they pay our salaries every day. That's not my concern. So now that's what I'm doing. I don't really tackle the editorial anymore. I have my editor doing that. I have to make sure that I pay salaries for like 25, 30 something people. And it is quite hard, We're going to talk a little bit about the sustainability later, but for me, now being the person who is running the company, who is making sure that, in the Indonesian, we Indonesians say the dapur tetap ngebul, the smoke, the kitchen is still producing smoke, meaning from the stove. I have to make sure that our business model can sustain that, right? But it doesn't mean that we would sell our soul, because this is a part about being independent media company, is that, we are more independent. We have the decision to determine who can partner with us, who can support us, is in us, Hard as it is, we are still quite stubborn in terms of like blacklisting certain industry or certain companies or certain brands. For example, because Magdalene is a feminist media company, we talk a lot about beauty standard, right? How incredibly unrealistic and harmful beauty standard is. How it is harmful for women, especially young women. So we don't take money from brand that sells whitening, skin whitening, for example, or diet pills or diet medicines. We also don't take money from, we don't partner with like mining companies or extractive industries. So it's things like that we have to create our own boundaries, and it's often kind of agreement and negotiation within our company also, because I try to make the running of the company a lot more kind of egalitarian and not just top down. So a lot of it is, us having discussion. Is this okay? Should we let them sponsor this? Should we go to this company? Should we go to this? And things like that. But it doesn't mean that we don't, we face this kind of discussion all the time and this kind of dilemma. But luckily we have that boundaries, and we are quite we know where we stand on things and on certain issues.
And hopefully, as a media, when it's being seen and heard of what your vision is, they already know that
Yes.
when
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come in. Yeah.
Definitely, they attract.
course.
We attract certain.
Yeah. Well, very similar in what we do in Makna Talks as well. We make sure, because I do believe some people out there, your social media platform or you have your own small media company, it's quite difficult in the beginning to curate all these brands and curate who to work with, who not. I think it's very proper for you to maintain what you have to say right in front and say, hey, I'm going to cover this in the future. Would you like to partner with me? Balibangong from Kresna, would you like to add on what Balibangong?
So basically, Balibangong is, let's say it's an alternative media. Basically, it's different within mass media. So we're practicing slow journalism where the news we involve is not indirect in time. So we do some kind of in-depth reporting, and then we engage from another perspective, not only just one. So we're trying to engage the local and then the other parts, because in Bali we facing lots of problems, lots of stuff, and then we trying to change the narrative within contents, because we believe that contents, it's pretty easy to engage the audience in contents.
Wow, okay. Silakan, Mbak.
Yeah, well, okay, for us actually, especially after the pandemic, I think we have better communication with our business team. So, and we have an agreement that actually it's let's have a very clear boundary about editorial content, and outside that boundary, the business team can create anything basically, advertorial. But then of course we differentiate the product when it appears on the newspaper, on social media, on the website. Totally different. But I think better communication with our business team is the key, so they understand our standpoint, and and luckily we have a very understanding business team, so that when we say, oh, we cannot cover big tobacco, for instance, because we are on the side to support public health initiatives, public health policies. So it's a strict no for big tobacco, and we continue. If there's of course there will be, especially during the pandemic, the temptation is strong, money is dripping, and but then we said no, we cannot get anything like that, something like that, and somehow we still get help. And to be very honest as well, we also still take government ads. But then we're selective with the content of the government ads. And I think it's also, again, thanks to our business team, they always communicate the content if it's from Ministry B.
Yeah, but I love government ads because you can play with them.
Well,
I mean, because they're not going to read it.
It pays the bill, exactly.
They don't have high KPIs either.
Yeah, they don't. Well, one, they don't have high KPIs.
Exactly.
Two, it's our money. Three, they're not going to read it. So yeah.
See, we're in agreement. We love government.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. Keep those coming.
Yes, but then sometimes it I don't know, at least for our newsroom, sometimes it comes with requests. There's where we draw the boundary. For instance, like if it's a paid article, for instance, we make it really clear it's a paid article, and we tell the business team, thing you want with it, we just probably on the newspaper probably we provide the slot, and then probably that's it. We don't really.
Okay. How do you? I'm assuming there's tense between those divisions, no?
Yeah, there are a lot of tensions.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's quite tense.
But then I don't know. This is
Yeah.
It's a long-term relationship.
Yeah, of course. It's a media company.
Yeah, it's and I think it's already different. Before the pandemic, we used to have a very stronger firewall with no communication. Sometimes it's the newsroom just straightly say no, we can't, no, something like that.
Yeah.
But then I think, now we're coming
Compromised.
together.
Yeah.
We're compromising, and I think. And also it also make our business team create more commercial products
Yes.
outside the editorial. So it's been good.
Okay.
Can I just add to
Please.
that? I think it's important to highlight the different world we're living now, because I've been in journalism for 30 years now, almost 30 years. And I feel that before, journalists can afford not to think about the sustainability of their companies. Now, now they cannot, because most journalists are on the verge of being laid off. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of large newsroom have, like large laid off in the past few years. So now I think it's important to actually get the journalists to know that you are, we're not asking you to sell news. We're not asking you to knock on doors to these brands or government or whatever. But you do realize that your value is the quality of your product, and that quality of your product bring audience, and that audience is what we sell to whatever, to partners, to corporates, to government, whatever, So it's that, so not thinking as like I was a very arrogant journalist. In my time, most journalists are quite arrogant. We thought that we only live in a bubble and we produce all this wonderful stuff. But now, even if you produce all this wonderful stuff, nobody reads
Nobody's
it.
gonna
So
read it.
it's like, you really have to humble yourself and to know that just producing good news is not enough, So you have to think about the ecosystem as well and what the others are doing, including people.
Brilliant. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah.
Yes.
Before we talk about sustainability and how we can grow together, obviously financially and more independent, I think there's an important thing that Bali Bangong mentioned earlier about, you focus on journalism for a long term and do your fantastic research. So how do you maintain the balance between public participation and also journalistic accuracy?
Okay, so basically we're trying to engage the community first, the local community within the village around Bali. So basically Bali Bangong have its own program called citizen journalism training in villages around Bali. They're trying to put up the voices from the locals in rural areas in Bali, and then we trying to recollecting the memories within cultures and within anything, the potential within places in one area in there. And then we're trying to engage, we're collecting the stories around the rural areas, and then we connect them between, let's say, trying to connect the content, within places, because its places has its own authenticity. So basically, authenticity really matters in one places.
That's when I look at you speak about this, I see the journalist that you were talking about 10 years ago with all that, with that fire.
That was 20 years ago.
But apparently, as you said now, there's lots of focuses that we have to deal with. I was recently asked, as a journalist, could you be rich? Or could you be filthy rich?
If your last name is Murdoch,
And I answered. I said, yes, if you took many opportunities beside being a journalist.
yeah, but not rich. Even that is
That's
rich.
not even rich.
Well, comfortable.
But my question is, can a small media company that starts off with 7 people be rich? And let's talk about sustainability for the next 20 minutes. But if you please, lead the conversation.
If what you mean spiritually rich,
I wasn't planning on talking
No,
about
okay.
that.
What kind of rich?
No.
Elon Musk
No.
rich. There's many kind of
Since
rich
we're
as
in
well.
Ubud,
This is
right?
Bob Marley here talking.
Yeah,
let's
okay.
get rid of the yoga
Okay.
instructor.
No, but I think I don't know about rich. I think you have, if you know your strength, if you can build a brand and make sure you build a community that is very reliable and loyal to you, you can grow. You can be a brand that is very consistent and very trusted. And in that way, you can make good money, I think.
Yeah.
I think. That's one. And but also you have to have the savvy in turning that into money, right?
Yeah.
In knowing what to sell, in innovating, in using that kind of engaging that audience to bring, partnerships and things like that. So that's one. But on the other hand, I think that the challenges are also so massive and shape shifting. In the past, Magdalene's been around for 12 years. And in the past 12 years alone, the shape of the challenges have changed so much.
Yeah.
That it's like, now what? I'm like, every day I'm waking up like, now what? Now AI, now people Google gender issues in Indonesia and they get AI. They don't even get links to Magdalene anymore, and they just copy pasting this. And it's like, before we have the social media, we have the content creator, influencers, and then on top of that, we have all this giant tech that is like basically a country in itself.
Yeah.
That whose power is even more powerful than a country, a government, because they can just shut down information. Remember, I think one day Instagram or Twitter or maybe WhatsApp was down. Everybody was going crazy. Like everybody works, communicate, even sending memes and stuff through WhatsApp or through Instagram. And then it's down and it's like,
Yeah,
and they don't even get information. So I think
My sister thought she went to heaven.
exactly. On the other hand, spiritually, you may be elevated. But yeah, coming back to that, I think even if you do get to a certain point where you make quite good money, it's still, you do have to have your eyes on the future, because things are not going to be smooth. Things are changing so fast.
Can we all agree for the past 3-5 years, our main income comes from partnerships? Can we agree to that? Or?
Yeah, grant partnership.
Yeah,
and then
so those two, yeah?
events, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Still, yeah.
Advertising?
advertising is very small for us, but I think for larger
For
media,
Jakarta Post is quite okay. You didn't mention subscription.
Actually, for us, subscription growing, but not as fast as we want it to be.
Got it.
Because I think we follow. We are part of the training from Google, from the FT, and for many Facebook that try to tell us how to develop a subscription first business. But fundamentally, it's quite a struggle to build a subscription business for basically anything, especially when you talk about Southeast Asia, because subscription economy hardly exists in Southeast Asia. Even in Asia, if we want to talk about successful media with successful subscription, to be very honest, I can only name one. It's Nikkei, and it's a very, very huge media conglomerate. Other than that, probably it's partially owned by the government or sustained by advertisement, including from the government. That's to be very honest. So I don't think that we're going to be Elon Musk rich anytime soon, the media.
No. Yeah. I don't mind not being that rich.
It's good. Probably it's going to be a headache, probably.
Yeah.
And then that's
Okay.
to sum up. Yeah.
I want to talk just tiny bit about that. If it's a struggle and if it's not giving the company lots of money, and I believe that news should be for everyone, why don't you make it for free?
That's the thing. Now we have AI. Now we live alongside of AI. So if we don't have the paywall, then the AI, the search engines can just crawl everything from our website.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why actually it's been in the talk in the industrial organizations like One Infra and other forums. You must have a paywall to protect your content from AI actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So not only for subscription, but also to protect your content from AI. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually eventually I thought subscription is something that we the path that we must have in the future.
Yeah.
And of course, to support the subscription, we must first also gain the awareness of the public that it's important for us to
course.
have the paywall, for instance. Yeah, many things should come first before we can really establish that we can develop a subscription first business.
Got it. Okay. It was mentioned that to become sustainable, it should be community-driven as well, because the amount of, I guess, supporters there are online events, they undoubtedly they create the cash at the end of the day. Balibangong, that's one of your focus as well. Can you talk to us about that, and how has that led you to sustainability?
Okay, so basically, maybe we're focusing on to the marginal community, yeah.
Please.
Marginal community in Bali. Sometimes not really hurt, yeah, not really hurt. In, let's say, another media or another community doesn't think that it's an important issue, so they not really hurt very well. So we're trying to engage them, and then we're trying to ask them within, okay, so what do you want to do next? How can we support as a media to engage the message, their message, their in everything. So basically, we're trying to engage from that aspects from the locals.
Perfect. Well, we have time for Q&A for the next 15 minutes. Anybody, please? We have one here, one there. Whichever closest to the mic, please. State your name and your question to who. Go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jemima, and I'm actually the editor of the Independent Media Whiteboard Journal. We're based in Jakarta, by the way. I totally relate with the government ads. But my question is, as an editor and journalist, sometimes I still get the sentiment from people that independent medias are less credible compared to mainstream media, especially with how Indonesians view numbers and insights of the media. A total shift of perspective from the people, especially seeing how independent medias right now are growing vastly. And what values do we need to always consistently hold in making a change of perspective in the audience?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Very
wow.
good question.
There's a bunch of aspects in those questions.
Yeah.
Would you like to answer them? Or was that designed specifically to individual or for everyone? Okay. Whoever wants to take it first, please.
I think it's a really good question, and I just would like to venture a little bit off there before I address that. But there's this thing also where independent media like Magdalene, organizations like Magdalene, is being called alternative media, that provide alternative information, which is in a way is good, but it's also, to me, it kind of give off the impression as if the information that you get that we provide is just an alternative.
Got it.
So I think when Magdalene was referred to as the alternative, I was like, well, actually, our goal is not to be alternative. We want to be mainstream. Like in terms of we want what we are providing to be mainstream. And so I think it's this perception of being an alternative media is why people think that we are not on the same level as larger media organization. Where I think the larger media organizations have the resources, have the people, the money to cover things more, to spread their people, But we provide, I mean, quality-wise, we are the same, you know. We can be at that level too. Of course, not all like that. You know, so I think for us, in order to be able to influence that kind of perception about alternative, about independent media, is to like consistently produce quality work, you know, and consistently making sure that people know why we're different, you know, not just being alternative, but also being different, you know, than the mainstream, what mainstream really offer. But the other thing that I want to kind of address as well, that is kind of related to what she's saying, is that often independent media like Magdalene, because we come from a certain values, certain mission, we are thought as non-profit organization, and everybody wants like free stuff from us. Like, can we put?
Yeah.
Can you write something? You know, it's like that. We pay salaries to these people. You know, we are not like. Please, you don't go to a warung, a small warung, and say, hey, can we have this banana for free or this nasi bungkus for free, right? So I think it's really important to educate people that yes, we are small. Think of it as a boutique, but we're small, but we do sell things.
Yeah.
You know, you need to, you know, if you partner with us, be prepared to not just get it for free.
Sorry to cut you there, but talking about buying stuff, you're actually selling your merch up there.
Yeah,
so
I
please
do.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are selling our merch up there. Where?
And I get a commission when I say that.
I
You
didn't
know-
pay him.
You know, when you were being called alternative media, I remember somebody called my third wave media.
Oh wow! Kind
was
of like
like-
feminism.
It means good, right?
Yeah, it
Third
means-
wave coffee is good.
Yeah, third wave coffee. I was like, so I'm matcha? Like, what does that make me? But did that answer your question? Is that enough, or would you like more? Okay. There
But
is.
can
Oh
I
yeah,
just
please.
probably just very shortly? I don't think. I don't probably there's an impression about that, but I don't think that as a collective. For instance, like the current struggle, like in the August unrest, and then in so many things in the 2024 elections. We have so many issues that we will support together, and I think everyone is doing their job well, and that's why we had. I mean, like the aftermath of the August unrest, I think the government does a little bit, tiny bit better, but then I think there's a sense that the media and the people are heard, and I think that's also credit to the media, to every one of us, because you know, as you said, it's media is not only the mainstream media anymore. Sometimes it's the social media, the media that's the homeless. Now we have like the homeless.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, homeless as well. Yeah.
Homeless media. That's thanks to all of us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to about being unheard. I think one of the things that I know Whiteboard's doing an amazing job, and I think most of you should also check it out, Whiteboard Journal. But the reason why we do not heard or it's very difficult to talk about Papua, for instance, is because we do not have the access like all these people. We don't have the resources to travel, to interview, to see what's happening, and therefore it's difficult to talk about it. But people are there and they use their social media, and I think that's why there was a conversation about community-driven, but then that's also an important factor. So I hope there's more stories to come and interesting ones while you know he's in charge. Bravo. Anyway, there's a second question coming from the lady in pink, please.
Hello, thank you everyone, and my name is Chitra.
Hi, Chitra.
I'm proudly say that I pay subscription to several media to sustain and to support your work. So thank you very much for doing.
So
the
it
good
works. Yeah. Yay.
So thank you very much for covering issues less covered by mainstream media. My question is because you are all written-based media. So how do you sell your products to people who no longer wants to read? I mean, everyone wants like bite-sized summary of everything. Thanks.
Balibangong. I want
me,
Balibangong to
first.
answer this first, please.
Okay, as I said before, it's from the content.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to engage them from social media platforms and stuff, and yeah, that's the first start. Yeah, very small.
Yeah.
I think it's the same strategy now. So media is an ecosystem. So we have sometimes we make a sneak peek in the social media. Sometimes we also have free several articles in advance, something like that. So many ways to do that. But that, yeah, if people already, I think none of the subscription fees are really expensive. I think, and I believe that actually our Indonesian people, especially the young ones, are very if they
Generous.
like something, they just easily subscribe. So it's probably it's a slowly changing culture in society. But yeah, that's just how it
But
works.
it's interesting. I wanna. Do you know the numbers or percentage that runs from the social media directs to the website? Is there a number that you can think of?
For the Jakarta Post,
Yeah.
for Jakarta Post, it's actually, to be very honest, the less. I checked a long time ago actually, but it's pretty small actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, yeah.
It's under
But
10,
then-
under
but then-
10%? No.
Not even 10%.
Okay.
But then I think that's it doesn't always work that way because in that sense we must assume that people read something in social media and directly subscribe to the website. But it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes you check probably Balai Bengong social media and then over and over and over and then probably only later like one morning,
Yeah.
oh, I think I like them.
I think
so
it's time,
I'll
yeah.
subscribe. So it's not. But the thing is, what's good about social media is actually, it focus our message for each of the media. So for instance, like for us, the Jakarta Post, it's mostly we talk about democracy, mostly we talk about probably environment. So we, if you read the article, it's very long. It's probably you don't have you think that you don't have time for it. But then if we keep posting articles, good op-ed articles, good news stories, then you think, hey, probably this is a good read. Maybe I should check this out. And it's getting easier for instance, for the Jakarta Post. Now you can. This is not an advertising.
Oh,
Actually.
please.
So,
Go ahead.
You can. This is also I think we make it easier now. You can purchase just one article, for instance.
Yes.
You don't
you're
have
right.
to
Buy the whole thing.
subscribe the whole
subscription.
thing.
Yeah.
So those things that we're trying at the Jakarta Post.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just
Please,
add to that? Yeah, social media is very important for us. In fact, in the past few years, we have also shifted a lot more towards audiovisual. We have more audiovisual products, and our social media is not just being used to promote our articles, but also to be a place where they actually get information. So even when I meet a lot of our audience, they probably many of them only consume or see what Magdalene has from social media instead of so now when we have our editorial meeting, we actually talk about, okay, so we treat social media as another part of the editorial, as the newsroom. So we have an editorial meeting. We would be like, okay, what kind of product are you gonna make out of this? Is it gonna be an article, or is it just gonna be like a short explainer videos, or is it gonna be like a longer kind of feature videos, or is it gonna be social media content? So we're very clear on whose audience. We realize that we can no longer just rely on the text audience, but also we have there are different audience that we're serving, and the social media is actually one of the things that then can provide us with revenue. It's
True.
pretty good revenue generation for us.
Yeah, just to add a little bit, I think that also generates the number of KPI when a brand comes in. We can use that number instead of just
Yes.
from the website, so that's
Yes,
also
exactly.
good. Sir, yes, please, with the hat.
Hello, my name is Bruno, and I have a question about this. David van Rijbroek, who did the keynote welcome speech 2 days ago.
Who did, sorry?
David van Rijbroek.
Raybrook, yeah.
Yeah. he wrote
Yeah.
Revolusi.
Revolusi.
Ya, revolusi, betul.
And he is, every day, he is in a panel. Already in his welcome speech, he already mentioned that last month, your second president, Suharto, is nominated to become a national hero.
Ya.
And it is proposed by your president now. And when I'm well informed, your president now is linked
He's
in a
the,
familiar way
he's
with
the father-in-law.
Son-in-law.
We have son-in-law.
Yeah,
Former son-in-law.
yeah, oh yeah. But my question is, can all of you write about this nomination of the former president in the way you want? Or do you have to take care? Actually, that's my question.
Okay. I'm just a moderator, so I'm assuming it's them three. Go for it.
Well, I'll go with this first because well, we are quite critical of that. We have been very critical from the beginning on all our articles, on our reports, on opinion piece, on social media. We don't pull back on that. So we're quite serious about that. The thing is, I've lived through the Suharto years as a journalist. I started my journalism career in the last bit of Suharto years, and it was quite bad. So I would say that now it's still okay. I have quite a scale, and it's now we haven't reached that part yet, so we can still report on this. And I think we need to keep it that way. We need to keep the mainstream media also to keep it that way, because if we start to follow it, and then it's just gonna get worse, and it's soon it'll be like Suharto 2.0.
Yeah, agree.
So yeah, probably not necessarily saying that Prabowo is better. It's just that I think there is. I have to admit there is a effort from the government. We're not sure if it's from the president or the administration to control media, to control the narrative about the success of the administration, about this rewriting history. So there are efforts to do that. But then we've also seen that if we fight back in a way that's why I keep saying that media collective, media collaboration at the moment, it's really important to make us heard, to make us be able to stand against the will of the government. So each step, for instance, like during the first months, Prabowo refused to take doorstops. And we get very critical about it. We wrote, I think, almost all media wrote about it. Although, yes, some media received some nudge from the administration, but then we keep writing about it. And then he changed. Now he gives doorstops. And also, so it seems like for Prabowo, although he tries to control the narrative, he also, at least until now, he also has room to accommodate the media.
Yeah.
So accommodate criticism. Although probably it's not his favorite
Probably
thing.
social media.
Social media. So we've received, of course, those unpleasant nudges from someone. We heard something from someone. But then we keep marching forward, and thank God until now it's still okay. So I think that's what we want to keep doing. So seeing the first year of the administration, it looks like it's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be a hard work for the media as a collective. But I think there's a chance, there's a hope that if we keep doing this, probably it's going to be good for the people.
Yeah. Your question was asked to me like for the past 3 days. People kept on asking about what's the freedom of speech, what's media like in Indonesia. I think to keep it short, media in Indonesia is not being silenced. We are allowed to speak, but at least 3 out of the 4 of us here are not protected. We are not under Dewan Pers, which is
Press Council.
press council. So
We're
we're
not.
not being silenced, but
Not
at the same
verified.
time, we're not protected. Would you like to add a little bit?
Okay, so
Please, go ahead.
basically in Balai Bengong also we have some portal like opinion. Yeah, we're collecting some serious or critical opinions. So maybe because Balai Bengong is focusing on the hyperlocal issues, we collect some maybe some opinion that comments the governmental rights. Yeah, in Bali.
Okay.
Maybe just.
We have time for one question. You went really fast. Either way. Okay, please. Yes.
Hi. I was actually wondering, what does the support among all of you look like at this moment? So you were mentioning already you're not part of the press council, but how do you support each other at this moment? What does it look like as independent media? So maybe the three of you, but also wider other independent media. And do you look also at the region you're part of, Southeast Asia, in this regard?
Yeah, probably I'll start. Actually, this is quite important. Our press organizations, I think the bond is still strong. I can say it's still strong. So even when the laws don't really protect us, but then the press organizations, for instance, the press council, the other like Alliance for Independent Journalists, AJI, PWI, and other press organizations are still helping each other.
Yeah.
So individually or by organizations, so we support each other. For instance, like in the case of the CNN journalists I mentioned, it's directly the efforts is from these organizations is to lobby the palace. So we some of us are pretty close with the palace. Directly lobby them to return the press access. So that's also something that we rely on at the moment. For instance, other times I think. If we talk about Tempo, they have more cases. Sometimes now, but the press council, I think, successfully managed the case not to directly goes to the court, but then I think eventually one case at the moment with the agriculture minister now is going to court because of the Tempo's report. So, but then
that's right.
our support is actually we report that. For instance, the legal cases happening to Tempo, or probably Tempo is getting the big head. So we keep reporting that. Anything happen to not only Tempo, any news organizations, any journalists, we report that. I think that's the form of support that we're trying to support each other.
Yeah. And the trust of the people is still very thick.
So yeah.
Please, Adefi.
I think part of the reason why we're not, I think both of us are not verified by press council is because the administrative requirements are so long and so hard, and so it takes a while for us to be verified. But meanwhile, we are protected in terms of the collectiveness. I think there is a sense of, especially in this time and age when we really don't know what kind of government we will see a year or so from now. I think the press, the ecosystem is quite supportive of each other. There are, aside from some of the organizations that Witri was saying, there are, like, I'm part of the Association of Cyber Media Indonesia, so that kind of collective network also helps. And then there's also, the human rights groups. They are very actively supporting us when there's something related to us, when they feel that we're under pressure, or there's like, legal aid foundation for press, for example. So the whole, I think the communities of rights groups are there also to provide a buffer for the media organizations to survive in this uncertain times.
Yeah. Krishna, silakan.
Okay, even for Balai Bengong position as a media and at the same time it's a semi NGO. So basically, we on grants. Yeah, we apply for reporting grants and stuff, and then the partnerships. Yeah, the partnership program partnerships. So that's why maybe connection maybe works.
Connection. Perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the time we have today. Please give a round of applause to Devi and Krishna here. Yeah, that's our small voice, but very powerful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.